What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another FPL video on the channel. And in today's one, we are going to be looking at my Game Week 2 team selection. And if we could get 70 likes on the video, guys, that would be absolutely fantastic. I really do appreciate all the love and support you guys have been showing me recently on the channel. But with that being said, let's have a quick review on how we performed in Game Week 1. And as you guys can see, we managed to get a score of 68 points in Game Week 1, which does mean we currently are sitting at a rank of 1.2 million. And of course, guys, at this stage of the game, it doesn't really matter what rank you are at, but I have to be honest, I'm very happy with the start, especially after the terrible season we had last season, right? I do want to improve this season. I do want to get a very good FPL finish and a good FPL rank, and this is just the start of my redemption arc, guys. So hopefully this is a sign of good things to come, because I really do want to bounce back after we absolutely stunk up the place last season. So yeah, very happy with the start. Hopefully it's a sign of good things to come, and hopefully we can continue this good form, and hopefully we can get another green arrow as well. But I have to be honest, guys, Erling Haaland, man, I'm so glad I stuck to my guns. I'm so glad I didn't follow the template, right? I'm so happy I chose Erling Haaland. I'm happy I made him my captain as well, because he absolutely smashed it. A huge 26 pointer for me was absolutely sensational. And I have to be honest, man, everybody forgot. Everybody was talking about, you know, Mohamed Salah and how good he is on the opening day, but everyone forgot about how good Erling Haaland is at the start of every single Premier League season. He was the forgotten man, which is absolutely insane, because as I keep saying, man, this is a player that guarantees goals. This is also a player that is in the prime of his career, and that is why I did back him over Mohamed Salah. So as I said, guys, I'm very happy I stuck to my guns. Erling Haaland actually did manage to rack up 2 XG in that game against Wolves, and he only played 72 minutes, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, Pep Guardiola, man, I swear to Pep Guardiola, it's personal between me and you. Why on earth did he sub off Erling Haaland in the 72nd minute? I'll never know. He would have definitely got a hat-trick in that game, I'm sure of it. But yeah, as I said, guys, he did manage to rack up 2 XG in that game, and that is just what Erling Haaland does, right? He racks up chances and he will score goals. So very happy with that pick. And I think, you know, for the upcoming game weeks, he's going to be fantastic. And as I said, Man City played fantastic. Rangers as well looked really good. I think at his price point, 5.5 million, or well, 5.6 million now, he is going to be an absolute steal. The attacking threat that this man has is so good, and what a performance it was from him. And yeah, a huge 10-pointer. It's just stuff that you love to see. It is just stuff that you love to see, guys. Mohamed Kudus as well, he managed to get a 2 assists against Burnley. Looked really good. So very happy with that pick as well, because the long-term fixtures are really good. And Pedro Porro as well managed to get a clean sheet. So they were my standout performers. Erling Haaland, Reinders, Kudus, Pedro Porro, all of these players here were absolutely sensational for me. But with that being said, guys, enough of that waffle. Let's move on to my team selection for Game Week 2. Alright, guys, so let's have a look at my team selection for Game Week 2. And of course, we'll start things off with the back line. In goal, we do have Sells, and then a back three of Dorgu, Murillo, and Tosin. And on the bench, I've got Pedro Porro and Ronaldo. So first things first, I do want to speak about Tosin, because as you guys can see, he is yellow flagged at the moment. Now, look, the reason why I've still got him in my starting 11 is because last week, Maresca did say that it was more of a precautionary reason as to why Tosin didn't make the squad, which does kind of imply that it's not really a long-term issue with Tosin. Therefore, I do think his chances of starting against West Ham are pretty decent. Of course, to be fair, we'll most likely get press conferences released before the deadline anyway, right? So I should have a good idea whether Tosin has a good chance of starting or not against West Ham, especially because Chelsea actually do play the first game on the Friday evening, right? So we might even get some leaked lineups, who knows? But yeah, at the moment, Tosin is in the squad because look, for me, I just think West Ham going forward look pretty poor against Sunderland, if I'm being totally honest. And as you guys can see right here, right, according to expected goals, West Ham were the 3rd worst team in Game Week 1, and they had one of the easiest fixtures on paper playing against a newly promoted side, and they only managed to rack up 0.56 expected goals. Only Aston Villa and Wolves were worse. And to be fair to these teams, Aston Villa and Wolves, they played against much tougher opponents. So for me, it just does highlight from an attacking point of view how poor West Ham really were in that game. So I think the chances of a clean sheet for Chelsea are just really good, right? And we know how solid Chelsea are defensively. They managed to get a clean sheet against Crystal Palace as well. So I do like Tosin as a pick. I'm just hoping he's fit. That's just the question. That is the $1 million question. Is Tosin going to be fit to play? Right now, I do have Porro first on my bench, but that could change. I am still debating. I don't really know who to go for first on my bench. Do I pick Ronaldo to go first or Porro? I'm not too sure. I've gone with Porro at the moment because I think the chances for defensive contributions will be pretty good. We saw in pre-season, in the tougher games that Spurs had, Porro did actually quite well for defensive contributions, which is why I've got him first. And also, I'm expecting Thomas Frank to play a 3-5-2 system, as he is playing against a really difficult team in Man City. So therefore, I think Porro does play a wing-back role in this game. So that's the reason why I've gone for Porro first on the bench ahead of Ronaldo. Of course, on paper, Ronaldo does have the better fixture, which is why it's a tough call to make. I don't really know who I'm going to put first, but at the moment, Porro is first on the bench. Now, listen, guys, we also do have Sells and Murillo. Double Nottingham Forest defense against Crystal Palace away. Not gonna lie, I'm a bit nervous for this one. I do feel like it is a tough game. I do feel like the chances of a clean sheet is gonna be pretty low, if I'm totally honest. But I will say this, right? Eze does look like he is completing his move to Spurs, and I do feel like that does definitely increase the chances of a clean sheet for Nottingham Forest, because I do feel like Crystal Palace losing such a quality player like Eze is definitely going to hurt their attack, right? Because Eze is just so crucial to that Crystal Palace team. So look, if because Eze, as I said, doesn't like the move is, you know, being very close to completed, I do feel like maybe I actually have a pretty good chance of a clean sheet here with my double Nottingham Forest defense. So yeah, let's see what happens in that fixture. But look, if Eze does still play, then yeah, I'm not really expecting a clean sheet, if I'm being totally honest. Now look, we've also got Dorgu in a tough game against Fulham away from home. But look, I think the signs are positive with Manchester United. I think the performance we put in against Arsenal was really good. And Dorgu, I feel like could do well in this game, not only from a clean sheet perspective, but also in terms of attack and returns. I do feel like the chances of him maybe providing an assist is pretty high because of the fact that he just gets so advanced, so attacking, always overlapping, always looking to put a cross in the box. I do feel like the attacking prospects with Dorgu are really good. So yeah, with this defense, all in all, I'd say this week it's not necessarily the best on paper, but it also could work out better than I expect. But with that being said, guys, let's move on into the midfield and the attack. And in midfield, we do have Cole Palmer, Bukayo Saka, Morgan Rogers, Mohamed Kudus, and Tajani Reinders. And for the front two, we do have Ollie Watkins and, of course, Erling Haaland. So this is how my midfield and attack is looking. And I want to start off by talking about captaincy, guys, because as you can see, Bukayo Saka is my captain, playing against Leeds at home. It's a great fixture on paper. Yes, I do know Leeds. I watched the game, Leeds versus Everton, and I have to be honest, they absolutely dominated Everton from start to finish. It was a fantastic performance from Leeds. Really did enjoy the game as well. But at the end of the day, that's Everton, right? We are now talking about the big boys. Arsenal at home at the Emirates as well. The first game at Emirates at the start of the new season. So I'm expecting Arsenal to put in a very dominant performance, even though, yes, Leeds were good against Everton. As I said, it's a different kettle of fish now they're dealing with, right? So for me, I think Saka at home against Leeds, in my opinion, is the standout captain option this week, which is the main reason why I even included Saka in my team in the first place, right? Because I knew he was the best captain pick this week on paper, right, with the fixture that he does have. So yeah, I'm hoping that Saka can deliver. Yes, Arsenal looked really poor against Manchester United, but look, it's away at Manchester United, first game of the season, away at Old Trafford. I don't think we can sort of judge Arsenal too much, right? I still do expect Arsenal to dominate and score a lot of goals in this game against Leeds. So yeah, for me, I really am happy to own Saka and captain him for this game. Now, another thing I want to talk about is my personal captaincy ranking, right? When you look at the fixtures this week, we've got Chelsea away at West Ham. A lot of people are probably considering Cole Palmer. I definitely would not go there, to be honest, and we'll speak about Cole Palmer in a second. A lot of people are thinking of captaining Erling Haaland against Spurs. I think Ollie Watkins has to be up for consideration away at Brentford, and of course Bukayo Saka, or maybe even Gyökeres, right, against Leeds, and then finally Mohamed Salah against Newcastle away from home. For me, if you do not have Bukayo Saka this week, I would definitely be looking to captain Ollie Watkins away at Brentford, right? That is my personal opinion. Yes, I would go for Ollie Watkins ahead of Erling Haaland. For me, my ranking would simply be this, right? Saka against Leeds. If you don't have him, then Ollie Watkins against Brentford. If you don't have him, then I would probably say Haaland against Spurs, And if you don't have him, I'd say Salah against Newcastle, and then I'd actually go for Palmer last away at West Ham. Maybe if you even do have a Bournemouth player as well, like an Evan Nilsson or Semenyo, you could actually take a punt on a Bournemouth asset as well. I don't think that's a bad shout at all. But as I said, for me, the main two is definitely Saka and Watkins as the best captain picks for Game Week 2. That's just my personal opinion. That's just my opinion in terms of captaincy rankings based off what we saw in Game Week 1 and based on the fixtures that we do have at hand as well. So yeah, that's just my opinion. Let me know down below in the comments, who are you going to captain for Game Week 2? I'd love to know your thoughts. But yeah, I'm going to go with Saka. Really happy with that. Now, I do want to speak on Cole Palmer, right? Because Cole Palmer is a concern, a massive concern. And already, as I said, I'm starting to regret picking him and starting off with him in my Game Week 1 squad. I have to be totally honest with you guys. And this is exactly why I've decided to rank him last in terms of the captaincy options, because I'm just not liking what I'm seeing with him in this Chelsea team. Once again, we're seeing Cole Palmer play in this left 10 role, and it's not good for FPL, guys. It is simply not good enough for FPL. And already for me, Cole Palmer is definitely on thin ice, which is why I don't even like him as a captain pick, if I'm being totally honest with you guys. Yes, West Ham are have obviously shown that they are a poor team and they can be got at, right? We saw Sunderland absolutely destroy them. However, for me, I just can't trust Cole Palmer. I just can't trust him anymore. We saw, like, this isn't a one-off thing with Cole Palmer, right? He's been pretty bad for FPL for the whole of 2025, to be honest with you, right? The second half of the season last year was absolutely terrible from Cole Palmer, and once again we're seeing those signs again. So for me, I don't have a lot of confidence in Cole Palmer. I certainly wouldn't be putting the captain's armband on him this week. Number one, he's also the early kickoff, right? Never bat the early kickoff. You guys know the unwritten FPL rule, right? Never bat the early kickoff. So not only does he play first in the game week, right, he also just has been stinking up the place for a very long time. So for me, I think captaining Cole Palmer just going too far. I wouldn't do it, guys. I wouldn't do it. But as I said, for me, Cole Palmer definitely on thin ice. If he doesn't perform this week or next week, I'm certainly going to be looking for a way to remove him from my FPL team. That's all I have to really say on Cole Palmer. But look, I also want to speak on the Aston Villa attackers, Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins. I have to be honest, right? The performance from Aston Villa was disgraceful. Nothing short of an absolute disgrace, right? Really bad. Both of them stunk up the place. It has to be said. However, I do expect Aston Villa now to pick things up, right? It's a good fixture on paper they've got now. Brentford away from home. We saw how poor Brentford were against Nottingham Forest, right? Conceding 3 goals. Nottingham Forest absolutely dominated Brentford, and they just looked terrible at the back. Really vulnerable. Really just poor. So with that being said, I do expect Rodgers and Watkins to provide in this game. I do expect them to get goals. I do expect them to get assists, which is also why, as I said, I do think, if I didn't have an Arsenal player in my team, I definitely would be looking to captain Ollie Watkins this week. We saw the number 9, right, against Brentford, Chris Wood, get 2 goals. I think Ollie Watkins can do the same. I really do. So yeah, I'm confident with the Aston Villa players, even though they played poor against Newcastle. I do think in this fixture against Brentford away from home, they can get the goals and assists and they can return. So yeah, I'm more than happy to keep Rodgers, even though they were poor against Newcastle. I think not only am I happy to own them now, but even for the next, to be honest with you, all the way up until Game Week 7, right, I'm happy to own the Aston Villa players. At the end of the day, right, I've started off with these Villa players with the intention of keeping them all the way up until Game Week 7 because their fixtures are so good. So to be honest with you, no matter what happens in this game, I'm probably not going to take any of them out anyway because the fixtures are just so good up until Game Week 7. So yeah, my plan is just to keep Morgan Rogers and just to keep Ollie Watkins. And I certainly wouldn't be removing Ollie Watkins for a player like Ekatike, for example, which I've seen a lot of people suggest. Yeah, don't do that. We also do have Kudus up against Rangers and Haaland, right? So double Man City playing against Spurs. I don't really know what to expect from this game. All what I do know is that Spurs are going to most likely play a 3-5-2, right? So Kudus could actually be playing as a right striker or a supporting striker, which is not too bad. I will say, I do think the Man City defence is there to be got at. So I do think Kudus has a good chance of returning in this game. I think in the game against Wolves, we did see some vulnerability there with that Man City defence, right? Wolves even managed to score an offside goal as well. So I do think the Man City defence is there to be got at. So I'm more than happy to play Kudus in this fixture. I think he definitely can provide some attacking returns. But I also do think Spurs are there to be got at as well. And I do think Man City, like players like Haaland and Reinders, are going to cause problems. And I do think they can also get on the score sheet as well. So it's going to be an interesting game. But I'm you know, I've got really no plans to sell Kudus. Again, like he's another player that's just going to be in my team for the long term. And the same goes for Reinders. The same goes for Haaland. I'm very happy with these players. So yeah, I'm just hoping they can sort of get something in this game. But that is how my team does currently look for Game Week 2. I'd love to know your thoughts on my team down below in the comments. And also let me know your team for Game Week 2 in the comments as well. I'd love to know what your teams are looking like. And let me know who are you planning on captaining this week for Game Week 2. I'd love to know your thoughts on that as well. But with that being said, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. And once again, thank you for all the love and support that you guys have been showing me on the channel recently. Of course, as per usual, guys, there will be many watch alongs as well for Game Week 2, starting off on Friday, right? West Ham versus Chelsea. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. Make sure you do smash a like on the video. As I said, if we could get 70 likes on the video, that would be fantastic. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell as well so you never miss an upload. And yeah, that's all I've got to say, man. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy FPL Ryan, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. But until then, I'm out. Peace.